Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. That's the choice. This is it.
The cocaine and the crack.
They all sound the same to me.
There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
Vegas Scoreboard with Rainbow. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it. That's just the way it is.
That's the reason why I came to you.
Drink and women and money.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Good morning, Las Vegas, and all my sports bettors around the world. Waking you up early in the morning this Saturday. The football season is around the corner. NFL Pro Football back on deck. Time to make some money. And we are going to do it here with you this morning. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we are going to get into the grease this morning. Again, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Follow the show over on Instagram at JBTHETICKET. You check out our website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. This is the weekend that you want to stay tuned here with us. We're going to be jumping into the NFC. Last week we did the AFC shows, each division winner. Very good show. Very, very good shows. You guys can check those out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and tune in. So when I get back from this short commercial break, getting you started early in the morning, waking you up early. You know what time it is. Time to wake up, grab that bankroll, and beat the line. Got that lineup for you that you saw yesterday on the promo and heard on the radio. Thank you all for listening here in Las Vegas. Got the CEO of EastCoast Sports Investors talking about the NFC East Division. My main man, Jeff Dawson, going to be stopping by the big board. You always hear us giving him a shout out. He's going to be rocking with us for the NFC North Division. Coming up after that, we got John Ryan from the Predictive Playbook Sports Channel. He's going to be breaking down all the picks that you need to put cash in your pocket in that NFC North. I'm telling you, he is our new guest this week. You're going to want to stay tuned in for him. And then rounding it out, of course, my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, VSX Digital Sports contributor and my co-host, coming on to give you the breakdown for the Vegas Raiders training camp. That's right, training camp starts today, and you guys can check out these training camp videos on NFL Network on Fubo TV. That's right, go over to FuboTV.com/JB, giving you that 15% off. So when I get back, I'm going to have my main man Jeff Dawson on the line, and we're going to be dropping grease. So you know what time it is. Time to grab that bankroll, wake up early in the morning with your boy JB, and let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball. JBTHETICKET. Giving you that grease.
This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to StationCasinoSports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
The Farmer's Burger from Farmer Boys. Beef, bacon, cheese, hand-smashed avocado, and fresh veggies. Best burger champ. That's how we drop the mic. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food. Farmer Boys' new always crispy fries stay crispier and tastier all the way home. If they make it home.
Sharing is caring.
Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat.
This mix is smooth.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.
That's right. I'm back on the line. I'm waking you up early in the morning, and I'm trying to put that cash in your pocket. NFC Division odds to win the weekend. I'm your host in Boston, the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. That's right. Turn it up. I'm getting ready to drop straight grease. Got him on the line with me all the way from Boston, Massachusetts. The king of the COD, my main man, Jeff Dawson, EastCoast Sports Investors CEO and Chief Handicapper in the building. What's going on this morning, Jeff? How you doing?
Hey, good morning, JB. Blessed and honored to be a part.
That's what I'm talking about. You guys are listening to them. Again, you guys can check out their website over at EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Jeff, thank you again so much for coming on the show this morning. Very, very excited to have you. You know, each and every Sunday during this baseball season, we've got your cohort and co-contributor there, Scotty Beam Him Up Webb from the East Coast Sports Investors and MLBDaily.com. So we want to thank you for linking us up with Scotty, because his baseball analysis over the past few years that he's been working with VSX has really catapulted us to the top of the charts in that regard. But today we are here to talk about the NFL. Pro football is back on the line. Again, you guys can watch these games on Fubo TV. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com. That's FUBO TV.com/JB. I'm giving you the grease. 15% off and 7 days free. No credit check, no deposit, no guy coming to your house with a box and hooking it up wrong and then you can't watch the game. Nope, all you got to do is go to the website, sign up for that discounted offer, and download the app, and you've got sports, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, anywhere you go. So, Jeff, it has been an eventful offseason. We've talked about it a lot on our show last week with the AFC. This week, we're getting into the NFC East Division. Now, last year, you know, their top team, our guy, shout out Hard Rock Hamilton, Linwood Hard Rock Hamilton, defender of the youth, former Philadelphia Eagle himself. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl last year representing the NFC. You've got the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants had a much better season. They signed Saquon Barkley.
Giving you that grace.
Saquon Barkley woke up, realized his value as a running back. But then you've got the two, well, not necessarily the two wild card teams, but they're the two teams that I feel that have had the most issues in the offseason, player personnel issues. Some star players have been getting moved around, and that's the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. So let's jump into it, Jeff. Rotation number 1401, Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East Division. They are favored right now at -120, a decent price for a team with Jalen Hurts. Remember, I think you were on my show a couple of years back when I told you that Jalen Hurts was the future quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, I led you down the right road here on VSX. They've had great success. Haven't really made too much changes on the offensive line. We do know you've got the Kelsey brother there working his 20th season or close to it or something. I mean, this guy has been there 1,000 years. Talking about Jason Kelsey, the brother of Travis Kelsey, that offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, their center. But at -120, Jeff, what do you see? Is that a valuable bet you can take? I mean, I don't see a lot of change on this team. I've seen that they've made some changes. They picked up DeAndre Swift in a trade with the Detroit Lions to bring him in. Made some good moves. A lot of Georgia players on this team, man. These guys are poised, in my opinion, to make a repeat as this division stalwart. But go ahead.
The NFC East is the one division that there hasn't been a repeat champion in forever. And on paper, obviously, Philadelphia, you talked about Georgia, they have half the SEC Georgia defense there. Added DeAndre Swift on offense, added Rashard Penny on offense, to go with Gainwell, to go with Boston Scott, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. On paper, they're the team to beat hands down. But as you like to say, going for the grease, I don't want to pay the tax. If you want to pay on Philly opens up in New England, first game of the year. Now, they were 3-point favorites, up to 5-point favorites. A very tricky game there. Wouldn't be shocked if Philly won by double digits. Wouldn't be shocked if they lost outright. Come back home and play Minnesota. So my point is, maybe wait. If you like Philly, wait. Maybe they start out 0-1. Dallas wins at Giants, and you might be able to get it at even money. So as you say, let's get the grease. I'm not going to pay the tax. If I'm willing to play an NFC East team early, I would be looking at maybe Dallas at, around plus 150. Right now on DraftKings, you can get Dallas at plus 190. They open up at the Giants as 3-point favorites. So I'm going to wait to any of my Philly tickets right now, JB.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Again, you guys are listening to Jeff Dawson, CEO of the EastCoast Sports Investors, over there on that side. Listen to the type of analysis he's giving you. It's very important that you guys tune in each and every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., because one thing about my show, we don't co-sign on my show, man. We don't have to agree. And what Jeff is telling you is right. On paper, they are the team to beat, but the start of their schedule, starting on the road, starting off with a resurgent Giants team under Brian Dable. They've been playing their lights out. Let's take a look at them right now on the line, jumping down the line. And I'm giving you these lines from our partners over at betus.com. Use offer code VSX125 for a 125% bonus on that initial deposit. Talking about those New York Giants, rotation number 1403. These guys are at plus 700. Now, when you're talking about a team that has had some issues at the running back position, injuries to Saquon Barkley, him coming back last year, being healthy and helping them get to the playoffs was, I think, the catalyst that helped Daniel Jones improve his play at quarterback, because you didn't have to rely so much on throwing to his receivers and trying to scramble and get the end knocked off of his helmet. I know you remember that game in Colton. I think it was New England or somewhere. He got smacked, and the NY from the New York got knocked off his helmet. But again, they gave him a max contract. So now we're talking about Daniel Jones from a contract perspective being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. This is a team that I feel is half and half. I think they can make a good progression this year, but to win the division and dominate over the Philadelphia Eagles, I think is going to be a tall order. But the New York Giants are good on paper as well, but I do worry about their receiving core. They've had problems at receiver for the past few seasons. We saw what happened last year when they let Kadarius Toney go at the trade deadline to Kansas City, and he was able to pick up some jewelry. So when you talk about the New York Giants coming in on our board at plus 700, that is a huge dog barking. I feel that this is a team that can come out and possibly compete for the division, but I'm not so sure that they can win it outright at plus 700. Go ahead.
I agree with everything you said there. Running back Saquon, is there any animosity knowing that Daniel Jones got paid and now, poor Saquon limping in at $10, $11 million per?
I know these guys complaining about a game they used to play for free. Go ahead.
Yeah, they did add Darren Waller, great tight end. Is he going to play? He has burned me in some fantasy leagues when he was next door to you in Vegas. But when healthy and mentally ready to play, one of the best tight ends in the game. Some youth at wide receiver with Jalen Hyatt, Wan'Dale Robinson. They did bring in James Robinson, was with Jacksonville Patriots. Took a look at him to back up Saquon. Defensively, again, no Lawrence Taylor on the other side. No one of that, quality.
Well, they do have Bobby O'Creary. Go ahead.
Yes, they do. And the price is right, Bob, JB. If you're looking for a swing, I mean, they do have the pieces. They were there last year. This was a team that went to Minnesota in the playoffs and did pretty damn well. And so if you're looking for a swing, a little scratch ticket, I don't have a problem with them at plus 700, JB.
I'm telling you, that's a dog that is barking. All you need the Eagles to do is slip up and win less than 12 games. If the Eagles lose 3, 4, 5 games, I think this division could be up for grabs. And I don't like when you've got those expensive money lines, but I think it's a pretty good price going back to that Eagles rotation number 1401. I mean, what they're able to do, the dynamic play of Jalen Hurts, if he stays healthy, I think he can contend for another MVP. But it's interesting what you said earlier. This division hasn't had a back-to-back winner in forever. So let's move down to the next team here on the list. This is a team that we don't know if they're going to be called the Redskins, the Commanders, the Turtles, the Battleships. We have no idea. Talking about those Washington Commanders at the moment, used to be the Washington football team. rotation number 1404, plus 1,200. This is one of those dogs where I'm like, well, looks like it's a long dog that is a wolf. You've got changes at quarterback. You've got a steady wide receiver in Terry McLaurin, but you don't have much else. Talk to me.
Yeah, the plus is Eric Bieniemy, now OC over there. Hopefully he can bring some of the magic from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Second year removed Brian Robinson from getting shot in the car with Antonio Gibson. You talked about Scary Terry, and then the second year of Jahan Dotson, Penn State grad, so he's going to add some help on the other side there. Rookie Sam Howell, what are you going to get from him? And the big thing for me, JB, is they've been dangling Chase Young on the other side, potentially going to the Ravens and a couple other spots. I see a 7-10, maybe. I don't think they can get to 8 wins. I'd be looking at a team total under, but I think they're potentially moving in the right direction, JB.
Now, you're talking about a team in the Washington Commanders. They've had issues over the years with the organization, and you know how I feel about teams that don't have the front office in order. But you talked about Eric Bieniemy bringing the magic. Let's talk about Magic himself bringing the magic. Magic Johnson, a part of the ownership group. Now, I don't know if he can come in and, play wide receiver or tight end, help him out, do some blocking. I mean, kind of like he did in 80 with the Lakers. Don't know if that's going to be available for you. But when you talk about it from that perspective, the new ownership group, what do you think that the Washington Commanders are going to have to do on the football field? Like you said, there's been talk about possibly trading away Chase Young, their best player on defense. This is a young man who came in highly touted, but again, injury prone. And when you have these players that just constantly have injuries, it's hard to put money on them. They can blow up your ticket. But rounding out again the NFC East Division, Jeff, thank you so much for stopping by the big board this morning. Running down those rotation numbers one time for you again. Follow our friends over at betus.com. Offer code VSX125. That's rotation number 1401, the Philadelphia Eagles, minus 120. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Naeem the Dream. He is tuned in, one of Philadelphia native out here in Las Vegas. I know that's where he's putting his money. And then moving right along down the line, rotation number 1402, the Dallas Cowboys at plus 175. I think that is a team that you would possibly lose your money on. Winning that division, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about them a little bit. We didn't get too much into it, but the Dallas Cowboys, they got rid of Ezekiel Elliott. They've still got Dak Prescott back there, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith. They picked up Cooper Rush at quarterback. Dak Prescott is still coming back, but I don't like players coming back from those types of major injuries. You know what happened. He bent that ankle to the side, and I just don't know about the confidence of him scrambling and being able to maintain dominance. But they still have an offense, CeeDee Lamb. These are receivers who can really open it up for Dak Prescott. But if he remains healthy, the Dallas Cowboys, long dog odds at plus 175. Kind of a short puppy. What do you think, Jeff? Is there any way they can get some money for you? Go ahead.
No, I if I was to have to plunk on one, I like that with the plus money, especially, if they both teams, them and Philly, get to a hot start. Added Brandon Cooks to help out. They did lose Dalton Schultz, which is a big binky for Dak. Make sure Pollard's healthy. They got this little water bug called Deuce Vaughn. Check him out on social media. He's all of 5'7", if that, a little step back there. They're going to have to win it on the defensive side, and Dak not turning the ball over. I know McCarthy's calling the plays. They want to go to a ground and pound and, have the defense on less time and more, 8, 9, 10, 12 play drives. So at a plus 170, there is value there, JB, I think.
You heard it here first. My main man, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors CEO. I know you're busy getting ready for the weekend. All the baseball picks. Again, you guys check out his website, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Check him out on Instagram. Just search in the box for the East Coast Sports Investors. You guys put out a lot of great daily content, man. Got that early morning show, Breakfast Bankroll. You can check that out on StreamYard. Any shout-outs before I let you go, Jeff? And again, thank you so much for stopping by the big board. You were dropping grease for that NFC East. Go ahead.
I always got to shout out my man and your man, Mr. Pop DiBiase. I did a show with him yesterday. I love the man to death. JB, I want to tell you, my hat's in the ring whenever you need me for the football season, Saturdays, Sundays, whatever. I'm back east. I got the coffee on. So whenever you need me, just give me a holler. And thanks to you and all your loyal fans.
Thank you so much for calling in. Again, give a shout out to Pop DiBiase. It's boxing night. You got Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford predictions. Wish I had him on the show today to talk about it, but we may be able to give you a recap next week. But I want you guys to stay tuned because coming up next, I got my main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook. Going to be breaking down the NFC North, the teams that are going to put your cash pocket back where it needs to be, which is on swole. And then rounding out the end of the morning, got my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, my VSX co-host and contributor, giving you the preview for Raiders training camp. So a lot going on this morning. Want you guys to stay tuned to JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. It's time to do what? Wake up early in the morning, grab that bankroll. Let's beat the line and get some money.
You're listening to the boss of the big JBTHETICKET. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled, get Fubo TV.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big board.
If you have money, you can buy anything.
JB the Ticket.
More fire, more heat.
Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back on the line with you. Coming back on to talk this NFC North Division preview with my main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook Channel. Hang on 1 second. Let me make sure I got him on the line. John, you on the line with me? Go ahead.
I am. What's going on?
That's what I'm talking about. Got my main man, John Ryan, Predict Playbook Sports Channel. Got these technical difficulties, man. I'm telling you. Woo! Don't like that, man. I mean, not going to get too much into it. Again, want to give a shout out to my main man, Jeff Dawson, CEO, East Coast Sports Investors, coming on for that early morning edition, waking you up on the East Coast, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and here on the West, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. each and every Saturday and Sunday morning with Vegas Scoreboard Express. Again, I'm your host and boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. You can follow me over on Instagram at JB the Ticket. I'm going to be bringing you the grease from my website this year. Lots of offers, daily deals over at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. So again, reintroducing him the right way from the Predictive Playbook Sports Channel. Here to drop grease about that NFC North Division, John Ryan calling us in from the East Coast, Pennsylvania, Jersey border area. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Why don't you start off with, since it's your first time on VSX, telling the fans a little bit about who you are, what you do in the sports and sports betting entertainment industry, but most importantly, how your channel online can help provide good information and put cash in your pocket. That's why I chose you to come on the show. I'm a proponent of individuals who know the game and know how to win. So go ahead and let folks know who you are, John.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on the show. First and foremost, JB, it's actually an honor and a pleasure to be part of this. I've been doing this for about 28 years now, and that makes me feel a little bit experienced as opposed to old. But, I've had a very good career with this. I do an awful lot of deep dives with analytics, bringing out, betting intelligence is the whole goal that I want to provide, especially the new bettors that are out there. It's a ton of them. Millions of people are trying to go to the casino and bet. And, honestly, I think worry that many of them don't know some of the ins and outs that you and I and other veterans have learned. We've learned it the hard way.
Right. We've spent our money.
The path easier and, give them out winners, most importantly.
That's what I'm talking about. Again, you guys are rocking with me, JB the Ticket. Got my main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook Channel. You've got a line there for that business that I feel that can grow, especially now with sports betting being legal on the East Coast. Jersey being first, New York coming in there. You got Massachusetts. It's going to be a betting coast. I know you just picked up the state of North Carolina, so I'm here to help your business grow. So let's jump right into it with the NFC North. And again, this being brought to you by BetUS. Go over to BetUS.com in all legal jurisdictions over age 21. And if you need some help, get it. Use offer code VSX125 for that initial deposit. So rotation number 1501, the Detroit Lions at plus 130. This is a team last year that was a little bit disappointing early on in the season, but managed late in the season to pick up some money lines. Almost squeaked in the playoffs. Won at the end of the year. I mean, this is a team that always fights. They're always fighting. Their fans talking about those Detroit Lions fans, never down on their team, always hoping that they can make it and do well. And that's one of the things that I like about this team. But priced at plus 130 to win this NFC North Division. It's wide open, in my opinion. No more Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is now playing with the New York Jets. So this is one of the divisions I feel that is wide open. A lot of tumult. You've got Kirk Cousins up in Minnesota Vikings land, a little bit shaky. Green Bay might go with Jordan Love, and then you've got Justin Fields in Chicago. But for the Detroit Lions, who is going to be under center for them? Are they going to make a change, or are they going to continue to stick with Goff? Go ahead.
Oh, I think undoubtedly they make a huge mistake not going with Jared Goff. Goff, in my opinion, doesn't get the credit he deserves, JB. For example, he's had 6 games of his career where he has thrown for 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And only Hall of Famers Dan Marino and Johnny Unitas can boast that claim as well. And then I could go on and on and on with the accolades for Jared Goff. But I think, this year is the year that they can take it to the next level. I do see them as a little bit cheap on the betting line right now for this division. And after all, this is the most competitive division if you look at the betting odds from top to bottom. So the team that's supposed to come in last place, the Green Bay Packers and the Bears, are at plus 400. No other division can boast that other than the AFC North. So this really is, like you said, JB, a division that is up in the air for basically anybody to win. But I do think the Detroit Lions are the team to take under Dan Campbell, who's 12-21 straight up with 1 tie. But get this, he's 23-10 with 1 push against the spread number continues.
Talking about these Detroit Lions, let me give you a little bit of breakdown of some of the players. I have been looking at this team last year. I didn't give them a lot of grease. Again, shout out to my guys over at Green Dispensary. Got my main guy, Beaudry, over there. I'm not going to drop your first name because you work in the business, but my main man, Beaudry, he is from Detroit. He's got the Detroit Lions tattooed on his arm. And I said, this year, man, I'm going to give your team some grease because they've made some changes, traded away DeAndre, but picked up his clone in the draft. Talking from the defensive side, you're talking about Malcolm Rodriguez versus Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell. They've got some real good players. I mean, this is a team that last year, the record speaks for itself. They went 9-8. The Detroit Lions had a winning record last year, and that was their magnum opus for the season. So I don't think there's anywhere to go but up. 1 or 2 more games, I think that the Lions could get over the hump. If you talk about the Lions in week 1, these guys have got an opportunity to really come out and play the game the right way. And if they want to start off losing, I mean, you talking about maybe the Buccaneers, Chargers, Falcons, Seahawks. They've got opportunities in the preseason to work out the kinks and see some of these schemes of teams around the league. So when they start the regular season, I don't think we're going to see an 0-4, 0-5 Detroit team. I think we could see 2-2, 3-2. Go ahead.
Oh, I definitely agree with that, JB. This is a team that you want to look at in the beginning of the season to get off to a pretty fast start. One player that I do like is Sam Laporta here at the tight end position, second-round pick in this last year's draft. And I think what we're going to see this year across the NFL landscape is that the tight end is going to become a much more important position overall than even the running backs.
Oh, yeah, those running backs.
They're becoming less and less important, unless you're Saquon Barkley. He's the exception to the rule. However, I think this guy, as a relief valve for Jared Goff, is going to be absolutely huge for him. It's going to prevent and minimize sacks, and it's going to keep the chains moving. And I think he stands to have a really, really good rookie season here as the starting tight end for the Detroit Lions.
Now, let's talk a little bit about their linebacking core. We know we've got All-Pro Anzalone. He is a lock-in on that left side. Again, going back to that linebacker core, I feel that if the Detroit Lions played a little bit better, stopping the run and short down yard passing in the red zone. Again, they went 9-8 last year. They figured it out towards the end of the season. So I'm looking at that bet. The Detroit Lions favored right now to win this division, according to the lines, at rotation number 1501 plus 130. Lowest value, but still in the plus. And we like that here over at Vegas Scoreboard Express. And we thank you guys so much for tuning in this morning over at VegasScoreboardExpress.com, KSHP.com. All my folks listening around the digital world, iHeartRadio, tune in. Thank you so much for listening. Moving on down the line, this is another team. Again, we just mentioned them. They're having issues. They're making changes. They've also gotten rid of their running back. Dalvin Cook is not coming back this year. Talking about the Minnesota Vikings, rotation number 1502 plus 275 on the money line to win this division. Now, you're talking about a team that has been on the cusp, but now they have made changes, and I think they're going to go more towards being a wide receiver, deep ball, threat-heavy team. They still got young All-Pro LSU alumni Justin Jefferson giving you the gritty.
Giving you that grease.
So I can't count him out there. He's a dynamic receiver, good for the deep ball, very, very efficient and secure in the red zone, doesn't drop a lot of passes. So when you talk about a team like that, the Minnesota Vikings, who we know are going to be focused more on that offensive side of the ball, passing, and then on the defensive side of the ball, trying to focus on getting shut down secondaries. How do you feel those betting odds at plus 275 go for the Minnesota Vikings? Go ahead.
Well, here again, I think it's fairly priced in a very competitive divisional race. And, I can make a case that they can win this division and not back Detroit in this situation. And I don't think they're going to miss Cook in the least, to be honest with you. As you mentioned, Justin Jefferson is still there. But more importantly, they got the Litnikoff Award winner from USC, Jordan Addison, who is a monster. He's 229 pounds, has great height, big hands, soft hands, knows how to play at the NFL level already. And having those two wide receivers, I think, Kirk Cousins has to be smiling ear to ear, looking ahead to the, even a possibility run of an MVP type of year for Cousins.
Man, he's telling you, MVP, I like it. I like that prop bet. I'll have to pull it up and put it out on the internet. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I say I love talking about pizza money bets, and that's what you want to do with these prop bets. Is you want to have fun with betting. You want to make the game a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more exciting, but you don't want to bet and worry that you just cost your family the mortgage.
Right. We tell you all the time on this show, don't bet the rent, don't bet the mortgage. If you need some help, get it. But most importantly, if you do bet with our friends over at betus.com. I'm giving you an offer to get the season started plus 125 bonus. How you going to beat that? And this is real sports betting, not any of that. Stop your parlay early when you start to lose. We give you back $5. Now, we don't do all that over there. This is straight grease, straight betting. And you're listening to my main man, John Ryan, CEO and chief handicapper of the Predictive Playbook Sports Channel, breaking down this grease for the NFC North. And I would have to agree with you, like I just did before, that Viking horn. This is a team that, like I said, they're on the cusp. And if they focus on maintaining their defense, the secondary, cleaned house. They had a terrible, terrible secondary last year. Couldn't get boys stopped. I mean, you had Justin Jefferson catch a touchdown and then they would give one up. But now that they've made changes, they brought in Evans, you got Booth, Blackman, Williams. These guys are in the game fighting for that starting spot. And that's what I like to see, a secondary core that could all be number ones, but are just fighting for their position on that back line. So again, talking about these Minnesota Vikings, rotation number 1502 at plus 275. If you're up in Minnesota and you're a Vikings fan, I can't get mad at you. I think that's a pretty good bet. Moving down to the X Factor team in this division. They're not getting as much value as I thought they would, changing from Aaron Rodgers to possibly this guy or possibly that guy, possibly Jordan Love, though. That's where it seems to be going, but it's yet early in camp. We just saw Joe Burrow come across the news wire. Strained calf, going to be out a couple of weeks. And that's over in the AFC. But again, we barely started training camp and injuries are already starting. And again, Joe Burrow, he was my pick for AFC MVP. But talking back about the NFC, these Green Bay Packers at rotation number 1503 plus 375. I don't like them at all this year on my betting list. I'm just saying they couldn't do much with Aaron Rodgers last year. He's gone. They're trying to come in with Jordan Love, a whole new offensive scheme. They've got changes over at the running back position. Khalil Herbert versus Dante Foreman. And then you got Rashawn Johnson coming in there. This is a team that, in my opinion, is trying to rebuild the roster. And because they're a public team out in Wisconsin, I think that stock is going down. Talk to me.
Yeah, I would be a seller of the Green Bay Packers at this point. However, I'm a buyer of Jordan Love. I think he is going to be the starter, and I think he is going to be a multi-year starter if he stays healthy. Here again, they drafted a tight end that I absolutely love in Luke Musgrave from Oregon State. He was the first of their 2 second-round picks. And had it not been for an early season knee injury last year, in my humble opinion, he would have been one of the top tight ends taken in the first round. So I think that's a huge outlet guy to throw the ball to for Love, minimize those sacks again, and move the game. Now, JB, I'm going to mention one thing here.
Go ahead.
Trend. 10-1 against the spread are the Green Bay Packers right now when facing a divisional foe coming off back-to-back straight-up wins. Okay, that sounds great, right? And you want to write that down? Well, what happens mathematically is these trends mature, and they actually get to a point where they're not going to go 20-2.
Right.
And I want people to be aware of that. You want to stay away from those. If anything, that 10-1 right now makes me want to bet against the Packers when that situation comes up.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm telling you right now, I'm letting you know, man, the Packers are going to be in the cellar this year. Just warning you, moving down to another team. They're tied for third, but noted as the fourth team in this division on the rotation list. Rotation number 1504. The Chicago Bears made some really bad blunders with drafts over the years. Quarterback had Mitch Trubisky all over that offense a couple of years before they got their man Justin Fields. Now, this guy is a young quarterback. He likes to run, but he's also a pick monster. These guys are at plus 375, rotation number 1504. If you're from Chicago, you might want to broccoli rob with this one because I'm telling you, you might get robbed on that line. You got the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers in week one. Just to give you an early week one line, rotation number 469, Green Bay Packers. We just talked about them at plus 2.5 on the spread, plus 125 on the money line. Total in that game early is 44.5. Chicago Bears in that game at rotation number 470, minus 2.5. They're at home getting favorite Greece, minus 145 on that money line. So from that perspective, talking about that division and that they're playing a division rival week one of the NFL season, that plus 375 is definitely going to go down. Somebody's got to take a loss, and I don't know who it's going to be, but I would put my money in this case on the Chicago Bears to at least get that money line and possibly move up at least to second or third position in this division. But to win it, it's plus 375. Do you think they've got enough grease to get that done? Thank you so much for stopping by the big board today, John. Let's go out with a bang. That Chicago Bears pick. Talk to me.
You teed this up perfectly for me. Betting on home favorites in Week 1 action who won fewer games than their opponent in the previous season are 63-26 straight up since 1990. That's 71%. 53-31 with 5 losses against the number. Now it gets even better, JB. If these home teams are favored by 3 or fewer points, as you said, they're 2.5-point home favorites right now.
Right. The
record improves to 35-19-4 for 65% winning bets. And if the home favorite has a game total of 42.5 or more points, check this one out. 30-13 against the number for 70%, winning the game with a 31-12 record. So
giving you the grease.
That's going to be one of my best bets right now for Week 1 action, going with the Bears.
That's what I'm talking about. My main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook Channel. Thank you so much for stopping by the big board this morning. You did great, man. You earned your spot. You're a VSX contributor now. Any shout-outs before I let you get back to your betting Saturday? Thank you again so much for stopping by. Guys, if you guys aren't listening, you got to tune in. Follow me on Instagram, JBTHETICKET and Vegas Scoreboard Express. Go ahead, John.
Well, thanks again, JB, for having me on the game or on the show. This has been a great time, to say the least. People can follow me at John Ryan Sports and the number 1 on Twitter, and we will be setting up Instagram shortly, so stay tuned for that as well.
Thank you so much, John, for stopping by. Again, my main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook Channel. The lineup is winding down. The NFC East earlier on in the day with Jeff Dawson. Give him a shout-out, EastCoast Sports Investors. And then you just heard John Ryan breaking down the grease with the betting knowledge. Again, I'm the only one bringing it to you here in Las Vegas and all around the world to my sports bettors. Waking you up early in the morning every Saturday and Sunday, just like I told you. Again, shout out to my main man, Naeem the Dream. Back on the line with us, listening to us around the world. Shout out to EastCoast Sports Investors. Again, all of their crew. Love your content. So when I get back, got my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. My co-host and contributors, time to jump into that Raiders. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JBTHETICKET.
This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled, get Fubo TV.
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 6 on AM 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big board.
This is it. The cocaine in the crack.
They all sound the same to me.
There's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
Vegas Scoreboard with brain flow. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it.
That's just the way it is.
That's
the reason why I came to you. Drink and women and money.
Back at you live here on KSHP 107.1 FM, AM 1400, VSX Digital Sports Network. I'm your host and boss of the big board, JBTHETICKET, live here in Las Vegas, Vegas Scoreboard Express. You know what time it is. Time to wake up early in the morning, grab your bankroll each and every Saturday. I'm giving you the picks to pay. Want to give a shout out to my guys who just came on. EastCoast Sports Investors CEO, Jeff Dawson. We're going to be giving you picks like that all year long. Gave you that NFC East Division preview. Hope you guys had your bankroll ready to write down that information and beat the line. And then right after that, we brought in a newcomer who came in with fire, came in with heat, and dropped that grease.
Giving you that grease.
My main man, John Ryan from the Predictive Sports Playbook Channel. Again, you can check him out over at John Ryan 1. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on the line before he spills his coffee on his phone and hangs up on us. My main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Waking you up early in the morning with this Raiders training print. Man, I'm having like a brain fart there. Hope they're not pramping and over there with the poon. But again, Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Follow him over on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. He's going to be giving you some Raiders training camp preview. But before we do that, we got to call out some suckers, man. You know that show that I came on the past couple of days? Nonsense. And that little young lady who was just running her mouth, Jesus. We're not even going to give you the time or day. We're not going to call your call sign, but you guys pissed off Big JB. That's something you don't want to do. Not this season, but again, moving right back along in it. It's in the past now. VSX, Digital Sports Network, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express taking over the airwaves. You'll probably never hear these guys anyway. So again, like I told you, jumping into this Raiders training camp. Again, you guys can watch this over on Fubo TV. They got the NFL Network. So, Ron, I'm just going to turn the floor over to you. I know you've done a lot of research. What do you see this year with the Las Vegas Raiders? Last year they went 6-11. They had a total turnaround to the opposite side from the year before. This is a year where, again, you've got two teams, two homegrown teams here in Las Vegas. Shout out to LV Aces and the Vegas Golden Knights, putting championship trophies in their locker room. And I've been saying it on every show and mainly here on my show, but whatever show that'll guess me. Shout out my main man, D Hoops, Daryl Harris. He's a young journalist out here in Las Vegas, CBS Sports Network, CBS Channel 8 here in Las Vegas. He's a great young man. Had me on his podcast, the D Hoops Podcast, episode 31. Check that out. You get to learn a little bit more about JB. But again, talking about this Raiders camp, man, these guys start off week 1, rotation number 471, plus 3.5 dogs on the road in Denver, rotation number 472. This has been a long-time rivalry. This is a game I think the Raiders can win. I don't like them starting on the road. But again, plus 163, minus 3.5. We know the trouble that they've got. We know that Josh Jacobs is very, very angry, and he hasn't signed on yet. We know that they've got a quarterback recovering from ankle surgery, and we know that they traded away the favorite of Davante Adams. But again, that's neither here nor there. Remember what I said before. All of those things are out of the window. This year, it's win, baby. Just win, baby. You got the spirit flame of Al Davis in that end zone, and they've got to do everything they can this year to put the Lombardi trophy right next to it. And like I said before, they haven't talked to us too much in the media, even here locally in Vegas. So I know they got something cooking up. Go ahead.
Well, the Raiders are just handling their business right now, except for Josh Jacobs, of course. But they are just playing. They're getting together. They're building a team. Which is something they haven't been able to do the last few seasons because they've had so much stuff outside of football causing problems. So they're building that core right now. Jimmy G's in camp. Yes, he's recovering, and the fans are loving him. He's loving it. You see it. He's got that Jimmy G smile back. I think good things are coming from Jimmy G this year.
Now, he's got a serviceable running back in Zamir White. He's entering his second season with the Raiders. He's getting reps with the first team from what I hear. But again, Josh Jacobs nowhere to be found. Still on Instagram talking bad about the team. You know what I said? Get him that ticket that says just win, baby, and drop him off at Harry Reid. Don't need the distractions this year. And we know the Raiders have had tons of distractions over the last couple of seasons with all the things that have been going on with different personnel, legal issues, and things like that. But this is an offense I think can be much improved. You've got Jimmy Garoppolo. He doesn't throw a lot of picks, and that's something that's very important. You got to look at that. I know he doesn't throw a lot of picks. You still got Davante Adams in camp. He's balling out. It seems like from what I'm hearing, him and Jimmy G are creating some chemistry, just hanging out while Jimmy G gets his soft reps, nursing back that ankle. You got linebacker Robert Spillane. He was picked up on a 2-year contract with the Raiders. He's a pretty good player in Madden as well. I think he's got like a 79-80 rating. So this is a team. And also Tyler Hall, he took on a bigger role with the Raiders last year. He was pretty good. That overall secondary stunk, but he was one of the few bright spots. Hearing that he's doing well in camp. So they have focused a lot on shoring up the needs. Not so much the wants, but the needs that they have. And again, of course, with those dynamic rookies, the edge rusher, Tyree, and of course, the tight end, Halloween Myers. Again, I think this is a team that a lot of people are counting out. That first week line here, they're on the road. But from a training camp perspective, Ron, and we've got about 3 minutes left to get this thing going. Who are some of the players you want to watch? Who are some of the players that you think on offense or defense? And we haven't talked too much about special teams. Last year, their kicker was atrocious as well. Raiders got to pick it up. But you know JB's rocking with you. I said, just win, baby, just win. Win, baby, just win. I'm not knocking you. You got so many of those old fans from the old city who just like to wallow in their misery and celebrate the mediocrity of the team. But I'm not having it. You guys are in Vegas. This is a championship town. Town built on losers. But we make winners, talking about that Vegas Strip, talking about that downtown, talking about those aces and those nights. Raiders got to pick it up. Rotation number 471 in that week 1 of the NFL season, the main season. Ron, let's go ahead and finish it out. You got about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
All right, well, running back, I got to watch for is a young guy named Sincere McCormick. He's a young guy, 5'9", 205, not real fast. He's a power runner, downhill runner, very similar to Josh Jacobs and his offensive coordinator, Mick Lombardi already. And he was given number 47, Tyrone Wheatley's number, because he reminds people of him already.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, you know they've got that edge rusher. From the rookie's perspective, who else do you think? They got Nestor Jade Silvera. Again, he's a unit. I've heard that people are scared to block him in practice. That's going to be good for us. We need that guy on that defensive line. Talk to me a little bit about some of the other guys you've seen, but that's my sleeper pick to be a starter week 1. Even though he was a 7th-round draft pick, the man is a unit, and he's moving folks around on that field. But go ahead, and then we'll get ready to get out of here and get everybody up to their business and their betting Saturday. Thank you guys so much for listening here on KSHP. Tune in tomorrow. We've got the Sunday show. It's going to be the NFC West Division. Got my guy Brian Snowman in the morning, going to be coming on. He's a brand new VSX digital sports contributor. And of course, Scotty Beam Him Up Webb, going to be giving you a little football tomorrow with the NFC South Division. And another brand new guy, my main man Troy West, giving you that week 1 early value bets. And he is the chief capper over at Troy's Money Group. So again, we got about a minute left. Ron, give your final shout outs. Final players in Raiders camp. Give you about 20 seconds, and then we're going to get out of here and get our Saturday morning going. This was a great show today. I'm so glad for all the people that listened in was able to get that grease. Go ahead.
Yeah, young guys to look for. I got Dalton Wagner, Adam Plant from UNLV, tough young defensive end. Greg Thomas, linebacker at NC State. And of course, I got to mention my buddy McClendon Curtis, which I mentioned months ago. And Aiden O'Connell, our rookie quarterback, he's really impressed with his accuracy so far.
Yeah, the accuracy in camp from Aiden O'Connell, Purdue product. It should be great. Again, Ron, thank you so much for stopping by the big board. Thank you guys so much for listening to Vegas Scoreboard Express. Again, we'll be back live every Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. tomorrow. Stay tuned for that NFC West, NFC South, and Week 1 regular season win. So you know what time it is. It's time to grab your bankroll, hit the window, and beat the line. I'm JB the Ticket, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.